So Carlos thought it was at 6 p.m. That's why he's here. Yeah. It doesn't specify online. It says 6 p.m. for all the gold matches.
Yednak is not here, so...
No, I know. I get that. But technically, if somebody looks online, because he looked online.
I knew that was a problem. I saw that and you know, it's
I mean, because obviously I'm only been looking.
It shows online
On our sheets, the sheets that you give me, 8:30. So I thought 8:30, but I just looked online. It says 6 p.m. only. It doesn't say anything about 8:30.
Wednesday.
Yeah, for today.
I'm sorry,
for the gold today.
You're live, by the way. Thank you for getting it. Yeah, cool.
Chris, play one.
Dis c'est à l'autre pour Mike.
Yeah, I'm using my laptop. I don't know why I work on my phone.
I'm Hannah, by the way. Nice to meet you.
46 people watching.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Did you tell Tony to show the video? Tony.
Hey, Sean, they're tagged. It's fine. No, they're tagged. You don't need to. You're
It's not sharing. It's better to share.
Yeah, so I'll just do it like that. I'll just leave it like that.
It's better to share. Yeah.
But once somebody is tagged, it goes on the
But maybe it's better this way because you get more people to view. I don't know. Oh, the only reason I share is because I have friends that some of you don't have. That's what I
It's
think.
not because you're tagged. You're tagged on the video.
Only Tony's tags. Only Tony gets it. Not all his friends.
No, yeah, that's how it works.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Only I get it.
Sure.
Sure.
That's true.
It
That's
shows
true.
up on his feed, right?
No, it doesn't show up on his feed. So he accepts it in his timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. If he has a validation.
Del, sorry. Could you share your match?
Could I share my match?
Yeah, share it.
Just put everything away. What do you want me to do?
Just share it on Facebook.
Alaska, right? You're the one that put it up?
Sean Alaska, I'm not good.
But right now,
Sean's page, pro page, not his personal page.
yeah, but so it's same link, but it's they didn't make it.
Yeah, Rad. Rad's on Lawrence.
But no, you're talking about the people playing. Or
Oh, who knows who's Rad?
okay, so on our team, for me,
On Wednesday. That's different. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we even know. Yeah, it's fun when we play their team. It's like, just you were playing, I think you would probably know.
Listen, I had it off. Listen, I told him that I would play. That he and I get it.
Take it easy over there.
That's how you stole. That's how you stole before a match.
Do you draw stroke watch it at your opponent?
That's one thing. I don't know if you listened last time. Sometimes your mic was right in front and there are wind noises, you know.
Okay.
So just like this on the side.
All right, yeah. Am I hot? Yeah, you are.
All right, guys, we have a great match coming up here. We have Tony Robles, the Silent Assassin, versus Del Sin, the Highlander. They're going to do the lag now. Del's on the left of your screen. Tony Robles is on the right. And it looks like we have a reasonably close lag. Both guys are pretty far from the rail, though. So they're going to be working on their speed as they play. Guys, we're coming at you live from New York City, Union Square area. Hello to all tuning in. So they'll be doing a rack your own format. So Tony is going to rack for himself, I believe, and do the break shot. Guys, you're listening to Michael Yednak, myself. I'm here live at New York City's Amsterdam Billiards and Bar. Master of Ceremonies, Sean Alaska Morgan, will be coming through on occasion to say hello. Thanks for having me, guys. All right, so Tony breaks from the left side as we're looking at the table. He'll be trying to hit the 13 to the short rail and the 2 ball to the long rail, and have them go right back towards the stack, hopefully refreezing at the stack, leaving Del Sim no shot. A critical thing when doing the straight pull break is to make sure the back line is very tight. So the 13, 7, 10, 14, and 2 shouldn't have any gaps. Otherwise the energy transfer will be off. Okay, now you see the 11 ball came out and the 13 ball came out. So Del's going to have a couple opportunities here, but he has to come with a tough shot opening up. This is an even race to 150, guys. These players are both pros in the New York City area and both have a lot of accomplishments. The 13's a little bit of an easier shot because he's aiming on the ball. The 11 ball, he'd be aiming off the ball. The 11 ball probably yields a little more likely to have an easy shot. The 13 ball, he kind of has to slow roll or go into the 7 and get a lucky roll to continue his run. Okay, hit the 7. Now he's going to have to come with a tough shot in the 11. And that doesn't yield any natural shots, so you could play the 11 and call a safe if you wanted. Put the cue ball back where it is now. I would check and see if anything is dead. Okay, he was able to hit it with inside English and get into the stack. Great shot by Del. I believe he's got the 14 ball or the 7 ball next, preferably the 14. And then they can use the 2 to go into the stack and have the 7 ball as insurance. Or take the 7 and have the 2 as insurance. I like that a little more, actually. They're playing all ball fouls for the Pro Division. And he got really nice on the 7. I believe he didn't get 2 straight, where you can clip the 10, open up some balls, and have the 2 balls insurance. I would go forward with this as opposed to draw. I'm not sure if he has the right angle, though. He may have to come back out and attack the rack later. Or maybe pull back and attack the rack with the 2. Or follow forward and attack the rack with the 2. But let's see what exact angle he has. Okay, was able to go into the balls. He didn't play shape on the 2, which is a little surprising to me, but he got shape on the 10 ball, which is good. All right, so no balls are touching. He basically solved all of his problems with that last shot. I'm not sure if the 15's out or the 9 is out and how good they are as far as break shots, but those are the 2 potential break shots I see at the moment. He could also clear out the 12 and use the 5 ball to push out the 4 and create another break shot with the 4 ball. I think he's playing position for the 6 next. If he gets to the middle table, he'll have lots of shots. He's got the 9, the 3, the 15. Lots of opportunities here. Obviously, one of those 2 balls, either the 15 or 9, may be a potential break shot, so he's deciding which one to take. To me, it looks like the 15. Yeah, he's going to push the 6 out now. 6 ball will probably be his break shot now. He's got a good shot in the 1, which would be his ideal key ball. He's also got a shot in the 8 or the 3. 8 looks a little questionable, so he's probably going to play the 1, play position on the 3, or play the 1, play position on the 8, and then use the 3 to get on the other side of the table. Problem balls are currently the 5, the 4, and the 12 ball. If he gets rid of the 12, the 5 and 4 shouldn't be an issue. I think he's going to go 8, 15, go into the 4 ball, and then the 12 ball's insurance. Okay, I'm not sure if he got underneath the 15 or not. He might be able to play the 15 and push the 12 down, and then play the 12 next. I'm not sure his angle on the 15. You can see him pointing at the 12 ball. The 12 ball is really killing him right now. Okay, now once he plays the 12, we'll play position on the 5 or the 4. Get rid of those 2 balls and probably use the 3 or the 4 as a key ball, or 3 or 5 as a key ball. Now if he's hitting the 4, he's going to make sure he pushes it past the 6. He doesn't want the 4 to get in the way of the 6 because the 6 is current break ball. So push this all the rail. He'll probably go 5, 4, or 5, 3, 4, and then 6. Okay, great shooting by Del so far. Looks like he's solved all the problems in the rack. He's got a great key ball to the key ball, and should be off to the races here. Now ideally on this 6 ball, he'll want to favor the left side of the table, basically the same distance the 6 is now. He'll want to be parallel. Obviously, the more angle he leaves, the more separation he'll get with the rack. The less angle he leaves, the less separation he'll get on the rack. So he'll try to leave at least a parallel angle. He got dead parallel. You notice he pulled back. That was to make sure he had enough cueing so that he doesn't have to stretch over the table. So guys, you're currently watching Del Sim. He's known as the Highlander in the New York area. He's sponsored by Lights Out Apparel. He also uses PQ brake tips when he plays 10 ball or 9 ball or 8 ball. He's also a fan of the G2 chalk and tips, and he's currently using a OB Fusion cue with a Keith Hammond butt. His main support is Hillary, who's sweating on the sidelines now. Tony Robles, his opponent, also known as the Silent Assassin, will be doing an exhibition charity match with Kevin Clark soon, so please look at his site for that. He's got an exhibition with Earl Strickland coming up at Amsterdam Billiards, October 25th. He's a big component of a lot of the pool in New York City by running the Napa League and the Predator Tour. Coming up soon will be the New York City 8-Ball Championship, October 19th through 20th, the Steinway Classic, the 5th through the 17th, and his primary support is Gail Glazebrook, Robles, and Jonathan, and Antonio, the little young one. So Tony steps to the table with a wide open rack. Del missed the break shot, and Tony's already planning out his problem areas and how he's going to get on his break shot, probably either the 13 or the 10. He may also try to develop the 13 or 10. If you're going to use the 13 or 10 balls as a break shot, you'll want to keep balls like the 15, the 12, and the 6 for later in the rack as key balls. He's clearing out the top side of the table to make this a half table game. He's going to get rid of the 1 next. We'll play position on the 14 or the 11. One of the key factors in straight pull that you want to pay attention to is sort of attacking the table in groups. So right now the 6, 15, 12 would be a group, the 10, 13 is a group, the 8, 2, 7 would be a group, the 5, 9, 4 is a group, and the 11, 14 is a group. All these little clusters you want to sort of attack at the same time, meaning right now he's down in the lower end, so he should probably get rid of the 7, the 2, and the 8. He is trying to develop the 10 ball as a potential better break shot. But just notice how once he gets in an area, he takes out all those balls in that group. Okay, he's going to use the 2 and push the 10 ball up, probably to a break shot or to create a better key ball. Okay, it's a little high, so it's a good key ball. As I said before, he's likely to get rid of the 8 and 7 next. And his break ball will probably be the 13 at this point. On the left side of the screen, you see Steve Lipsky. There's recently a big article on him provided by AZ Billiards. I'm not sure of the actual magazine that's in charge of that, but very good article written about Steve Lipsky. Okay, so Tony's attacking the 8, probably the 7 next, like I said. Now he can go into the 15 if he'd like and sort of take out those 3 balls and leave the 10 ball or preserve the 6 ball as a key ball. I do suspect he's going to attack that right side of the table though. Okay, he's looking like he's going straight for the 10 ball, which means I'll have a shot in the 15 or the 5 next, or the 10. Okay, he's got the 6 instead. So what Tony could do is he could go 6, 10, get rid of the 5, 9, 4, and 14, and then use the 15 and 12 as key balls. He may want to get rid of the 15 ball because it's a semi-useless ball, but he has options as to when he wants to get rid of that ball. Again, ideally, if he's using the 13 balls as break shot, he would like to keep the 10 balls as key ball. Don't be surprised if he doesn't use the 5 ball or some other ball on the left side of the table as a break shot. I can't see the exact line on the table, so he does have some options still. Now, with the removal of the 15, I suspect he'll remove the 12. That's one of those groups that I was talking about. Now, if he takes away the 13, then he's opted to use a break shot on the left side of the table. If he maintains the 13, then he's probably going to try to use the 5, 9, or 4 as key balls. Okay, that's the last ball in that right side group that he wanted to get rid of. So you saw he took care of the lower group first, then he took care of the right side group. Now he's got to get rid of the 9, the 5, the 4, and the 14, and probably use his 10 ball as the key ball. The 13 ball is a little low, but still a pretty valuable break shot. Now he does have the possibility right now to push the 4 down and create a better key ball or a break shot on the left side. But sometimes it's better to just accept what you have and run at the balls as they are, accepting a quality break shot and not trying to do too much. See, like right now you could push the 5 out and have 2 potential break shots, but then you could have a problem with the 5 as far as it could get tied up with the 13, could make the rack a little more congested, a little more difficult. Now what he did there was check to see if he wanted to play the 5 up table first, then the 14, then the 10. But the 14, the 5 to the 10 is a little less cue ball movement for his last 2 balls and yields a better key ball with the 10 ball. And the break shot will be the 13 ball. Now he can pretty much stop the cue there, and he's got a pretty good angle to go ahead and attack this rack, or he could go forward a little bit. He chose to go forward a little bit. Beautiful pattern by Tony Robles. And I believe the score should be 14-14. Guys, I just want to take a brief moment to recognize that our friend Dave Jacoby of Jacoby Custom Cues is being inducted into the Wisconsin State Billiards Hall of Fame for his 30-plus years of exemplary service in the industry. Just a quick shout-out to Dave Jacoby. Brandon Jacoby is his son. They make amazing equipment, guys. If you're at all interested, please feel free to contact me, private message me on Facebook. Back to the match. He's got a top outside English shot here. He should clip the 11 and come back in towards the rack. There might be a double kiss here. Okay, he was able to avoid the double kiss. And if the 6 comes down, he'll have an easy shot. Otherwise, he'll be shooting a long shot on either the 14 or the 3. Now, if he shot the 14 ball, he doesn't have any natural shots after. If he shoots the 3 ball, he'll have either the 15 or 9 if he goes into the stack. So he's just more likely to get a shot by shooting a 3 ball. If he happens to get stuck on the stack, he has the 6 ball in the upper left corner. So he got a little unfortunate that he scraped off the rack instead of stayed where he sort of intended. He's got a shot in the 9 still. He's probably going to clip off the 15. There's a potential scratch in the side, so he'll try to avoid that by using more follow and going into the 7, or between the 7 and 1. But a stud shot, if he had a level cue, since he's jacked up, he doesn't have to worry about this too much. But if he had a level cue, the tangent takes him towards the side. Okay, that actually helped his situation there. He put the 7 by the side, made it a little more of a helpful ball instead of a useless ball. I can't tell what his break shot is at the moment. He could use the 8 ball at the moment. Once he gets rid of the 15, the 11 and 10 go, and then once he gets rid of 11, 10, the 2, the 5 go in the lower right corner. So really the 12 ball needs to be removed, and the 15 ball needs to be removed as quickly as possible if he wants to preserve the 8 ball as his break shot. He could potentially, now this may be a little risky, he could play the 1 and go underneath the stack and hit the 11, and he would probably have a shot in the 15, and he might create a better break shot with the 11. But you have to play the exact angle to miss the 15 and go into the stack. I suspect he's just going to stop and accept the 15 where it is. Now he can use the 14 to get on the 10 and the 11, and he could also play a lot of those balls on the side once he gets rid of the 7. I might go ahead and eliminate the 7 here after the 15, and then use the 14 to get rid of the 11 and 10. So once you get rid of the 7, the 2, the 5, and the 12 all go in the side pocket, or they go in the lower right corner. He's just clearing lanes, so he has more opportunities. I would take the 7 and then the 6 out, since they're both sort of useless balls, and also they're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no groups, so no natural position from one ball to the next. Now if the 5 happens to slide between the 11 and 8, he might play position on the 5 next. If it doesn't, then I look for him to play position on the 6 and then the 14 and attack it that way. Now he wanted to be underneath the 5 so that he could go towards the right side of the table. If he doesn't have that, then he'll play position on the 4 or the 6, probably the 4 ball. That 6 ball could cause problems later if he doesn't address it sometime soon. Unfortunately, there's no natural path to it. He can play the 4 and then the 6 and then the 14, but that's a lot of cue ball movement. Might be better off playing the 4, then the 14, attacking the 10, the 2, the 11, and 12, and then use the 6 balls as key ball. He's a little thin on the 6, so he'd have to go back and forth if he gets rid of the 6 now. But I do find the 6 to be a bit of a awkward key ball for the 8 ball. If you got dead straight on the 14, you could attack it now and use that to get on the 10, push the 2 out a little bit, maybe create another break shot. He's got options here. He's not in any trouble. He could also get underneath the 10, push the 12 up, and then he's got a key ball for the 8. I agree with him getting rid of the 6 ball, though. It's kind of an awkward key ball. Tony does sometimes leave a ball up table for his key ball, but I think it's a wise decision to go ahead and get rid of that. Now he wanted to be on the left side of the 14, so he came up a little short. So now he has to go into the balls as opposed to playing position on the balls. Tony is a bit of a surgeon, and obviously we're always trying to play perfect. But he's opting to go into the 12 here. All the A's is insurance, but I want to hit this 12 lightly so he creates another break ball. He got pretty awkward here on this 8 ball. Has no choice, so he has the 10 ball as a break shot now because he's probably going to have to go 8, 12. To 11, 10 is the pattern I see, but it's a lot of movement, a lot more movement than he'd like. He might play position for the 2 next, or come all the way back up table. He might play position for the 2 next. Wasn't able to get there, so now he's going to take off his other manufactured break shot, the 12 ball. He'll play position on the 2 if possible. Or he's going to have to get real creative if he has the wrong angle. I suspect he's going to play 12, 2, 11, 10. Use the 10 balls as break shot. Okay, he hit it a little hard, so now he's got to hit the 11 ball thinly, play position on the 11 ball after clipping it. So I suspect he's going to use a little bit of left here, take the cue ball in the same direction as the 11, top left. And quality surgery by Tony to get out of a rack that really became a little tough, mainly because he got on the wrong side of that 14 ball. But he was able to maintain the run, and he's got a underneath the shot break shot. This is a top outside, so he'll use top right in this position. He could also use top left, but since the ball is favoring the left side of the rack, he's going to use top right here and come back towards the middle of the table. I suspect he won't slaughter this ball. He'll probably play this with a little bit more of a medium speed and control the rack as opposed to letting the cue ball go up table. He's going to open up the 13, the 6, and the 11, and possibly the 3. But 13, 6, and 11 are really what he's trying to work with here. Now, if he were hitting this ball thickly, he could really go into this. But it really depends on how much of the 13 he's hitting. If he's hitting it light, then he'll use top outside, and he'll hit it softer. If he goes into it hard, then he's probably going to use inside English. Okay, went lightly. Play position on the 13, the 14, and the 11, like I said. And he actually got the 8 ball as a potential break shot as well. 8 ball actually looks a little better than the 11, so I suspect he's going to use the 8 ball instead of the 11. So play position on the 8 right away off the 13 for a break shot. Okay, this is a little thin, but he's still pretty good here. This is slightly thinner than a half ball hit. When he does hit the rack, he should hit the 2 pretty square, which should open up a lot of balls. As a last resort, held the 14 up table. I would go ahead and go through this and not play for the 14, though. I would use the top outside, play this like my initial break shot. As long as he's going into the 2, he's very unlikely to lose the cue ball with the top left English. Tony went into it softly. He did have the 14 ball potentially as his shot. Luckily, I think the 7 ball is a little closer and a little more feasible. I would probably shoot the 7 ball on the side, playing position for the 14. He's looking to see if the 6 is maybe dead for the 12-6 combination. But he has the 14 or the 7 ball. Oh, looks like he might have the 11 ball, which is closer and easier. That would be his first choice. Okay, wobbled a little bit, but went in the pocket. And Tony may be looking at a dead ball with the 6 ball. He also has a 14 ball if he doesn't like that. He's calling the 6, so the 12-6 is pretty wired. I would not follow this ball. I would draw this ball back for position on the 14 guaranteed. And after he opens up these balls a little bit with the 7, the 1-9 should come down a little bit. And maybe the 5 and 2 will separate. And you should have another shot in either the 12, 2, 5 or the 14. But I'd play position on the 14 just to be safe. Okay, definitely has the 14 on the side. He also has the 2, the 7, or the 5. The 7 looks like the ideal break shot, so if he can avoid going into the 7, he'll probably play the 14, play position on the 5, and then come back, maybe use the 4 to get on those other balls. Still a lot of congestion, but no balls are touching, so Tony should be able to negotiate this rack. He hit it a little firm, but I think he's going to be all right. Notice he just went back to the middle of the table. That gives him the most options. I would go ahead and get rid of the 5, play position on the 4. He wants to attack the 9 as quickly as possible. It's sort of a problem ball. He can play the 9, go into the 3 after he pockets the 4, and then maybe use the 2 or the 7 as potential break shot. I like 4-9 here, though. Going into the 3, and I had the 15 as insurance. So 4-9, 3, 15. I should say 4, play the 9, go into the 3, push it over to the right rail. That clears the pocket for the 1 and the 2 in the right corner. And now the 15 is insurance. Okay, he must be scraping the 3 instead of hitting it thickly. Okay, he opted to go into the 12 instead. I would probably get rid of the 1 here, but he's opted to play the 12 first. If he plays the 12, we'll go 12-7-1 or 12-2-1. I personally like to attack the 1. He may be too jacked up to attack it. Yeah, he's going to go 12-7-1. If you notice, the 12-2-1, I got you. So he's using the 7 balls as break shot. Okay, he's going to play the 3. Probably another stop shot. Leave a nice angle on the 15 to come 1 rail. Crossing the middle of the triangle. Reese Chen just stopped in the house. You guys should check out his spot in Nanuet. It's a nice pool hall, guys, if you're ever in the Nanuet area. So this is a top left English, and he'll favor the right side of the table, but he'll probably come nearer the spot, a little bit to the right of the spot. This is top right. Okay, went right over the spot. He ended up with a quality position. Now, if any of you guys are looking to really gain a lot of knowledge in straight pull, there's a YouTube video by Mike Siegel where he talks about the break shot, specifically what angle you have on the break shot, how to approach it. In this particular angle, you can tell that Tony's not quite parallel to the table, so this is typically a draw stroke. So I suspect Tony's going to draw this back to the short rail and out, as opposed to using a follow stroke, which we've seen in the other break shots that he's used. If he were closer to the right rail, meaning a more obtuse angle or a thinner angle on the 7, he would use a follow shot and go through the rack, and he'd have tons of shots. Now he's a little thicker on this ball, so he's got to draw it, go back towards the middle diamond, and come back out. Thorsten Holman likes this shot a lot. John Schmidt likes this shot. Tony likes this shot. All of us like this shot as long as we have a decent angle, which he does. So he'll draw straight back to the short rail and come back towards the middle of the table. We'll get to see Tony really let out a stroke. A more conservative approach would be to do a stun draw and just draw it to the middle of the table without going to the back rail. That would be sort of the old school way to approach the shot. Okay, so Tony opted for the little more conservative approach. He does have good 5 balls, 6 balls out, and nice position on the 2 ball. Probably the 3 ball will end up being his break shot. He's considering going ahead and breaking with the 14 ball using the 6-11 as a potential insurance. I think the 11 is close enough to the pocket where the combination wouldn't be a horrible situation should he not get a shot after the break shot. If he hits the 12 ball, the 13 should dislodge and go down towards the short rail a little bit, but I'm not sure if it's an easy shot, I should say. I'm a little surprised he's not clearing out the balls actually and using the 3 ball, but he's opting to go ahead and try to go into the 12 here. Okay, went into the 12, and I think he's got a combination on the 6-11. Not quite sure yet, but there was always a little bit of danger with the approach. He had to really hit the 12 ball and not split the 12 and 13, and he split it. So depending on how the cue nestled up on the 12, he could be in a bad spot. Toten can make the combo. He still has a lot of life here. He's opened up a lot of balls with the 14-3. If he can get rid of the 6-9, there's a lot of opportunities. But it looks to me like he doesn't have a shot at the 6-13, 6-11 combination. And he's considering playing safe, which I don't really see a good safe here. From my perspective, I would probably go ahead and take 3 fouls and obviously try to create something in those 3 fouls, but not give up control of the table. He's looking to see if he can kick it the 12, 15, 4 and make the 4 maybe. He's looking at the 14-3 off the 2 on the side, potentially, and looking at kicking at the 11. Okay, so Tony's opting to kick the 11 in. He's got to go rail first here, so he's going to go long rail, short rail towards the 11. If he makes this shot, he's back off to the races because he should have a shot in either the 2 or the 8. But very tough shot. Let's see what Tony can do here. Good attempt by Tony.
That was a foul.
Yeah, he just took a foul unintentionally, tried to pocket the 11. A little unfortunate there with the cue ball to nestle up between the 12 and 13. And that'll end Tony's run, the 43 ball run. Dell started with 14 and missed a break shot. Let's see what Dell can do here. I believe he's got the 9-11 combination.
44.
Tony actually had a 44 ball one, then had a foul, so 43 balls is his current score. Guys, just so you are aware, I will be talking the whole match. If we have space in the commentary, then Facebook tends to cut out the match for copyright infringement. So I'll be talking the whole match to maintain no copyright issues. Dell's going to go ahead and cut the 3 ball in, go into the 5, open up the stack, probably create a break shot on this shot, maybe the 14 or the 4 ball. Okay, the balls didn't quite dislodge as much as he would have hoped. He's looking to see if the 5-4 is wired, or the 15-13, or maybe the 12 goes. He does have a 2 ball if he's in a bad situation. if anyone's curious, currently we're using Pascal Dufray, his computer software for the scoring. If you guys are at all interested, please PM him. It's called the 14.1 engine for stats and scoring. Pascal Dufray is the one putting that together. Now the 13 ball you can use as a break shot and a developer for the last 4 balls that are tied up in the rack. If he can get on the 13 ball, he can open the 5, 14, and 12. If the 14 goes, he won't need to do that. He can just clear the 14 out and the 13 out and run out the stack as is, probably using the 15 ball to create the 5 ball as a break shot. He's on the wrong side of this 14 because he's going to push the balls towards other clusters, meaning if he hits the 5, the 12 ball may go towards the 6 and the 15 ball could go in between the 6 and 1, causing problems. Okay, he was aware of that scenario and played it softly, so he didn't have any problems. No current quality break shot except for the 12 ball. So what he might want to do is play the could use the 8 ball as a break shot. He could also develop the 12 ball with the 6 ball. Or he could use the 6 or 1 as break shots. The 8 ball is going to be a nuisance if he doesn't use it as a break shot because it's all by its lonesome up there. If he gets on the 12, I believe he can push the 15 out and use the 8 ball as a key ball. The 8 ball is a tough key ball, though. He's got to play perfect position. So he's considering just going into those 2 balls, and hopefully the 15 isn't in the way of his 8 ball shot after. This is a low right English. You know, he hit that very well and wasn't really rewarded. So he's going to have to go ahead and take off his break shot to continue his run. Play the 15, the 12, and then use the 8 ball. Now if he can play the 15, leave his cue in position to stop the 12 in the stack, he could take ball in hand in the head string and possibly have a good break shot. Or he can play position off the 12 ball to get to the 8, but he's going to have to shoot the 15 ball now. Like I said, if he gets dead straight, he can play a stop shot, keep himself in the stack, or he can go to the rail and back into the stack, or he can just go ahead and play position now. Not sure how straight he is on this ball. Looks like he has some angle, so he'd have to go to the rail and back if he were to try to play that position. So it just depends on how he feels about getting shape on this 8 ball. And although he came up short, he's got a high quality safety here. He can play the 8 ball on the side, leave the cue ball on the rail unless I don't see the angle properly. He could also go ahead and try to go 3 rails and attack the stack. Currently watching Delson at the table, racking for himself. If he could just miss the side, going 3 rails, he could possibly go at the rack, or he can use inside, low inside. And good effort by Del, but just barely missed the stack a couple times. Now he's going to have to play a safety. I don't actually like rolling up on the 1. I like kicking at the 9 ball softly and taking an intentional foul and then trying to outmove my opponent. But Dell played a great safety there. Hit the 4 ball square and was able to knock out a couple balls and put Tony in a bit of a bad situation here. So we had a 15 ball run from Dell in a safety, I believe. So Dell's high run is 15, Tony's high run is 44. Those stats may be slightly off, but that's approximate. And I think Tony's going to thin the 9 and bait Dell with the 15-7 combination. Try to leave him up table and not give him a straight ahead shot. Obviously trying to freeze him on the back rail. Dell does have a shot at the 6 though. He wanted to leave the cue further on the left side slightly, so the 6 was a little more difficult shot. Okay, he's opting for the 15-7 combination or the 6. To me, the 6 is a lot more high percentage as far as pocketing, but it doesn't yield any position naturally. He could miss the whole stack. He could hit the 11, maybe have a shot in the 10. The 15-7, he's very likely to get a shot. So he's got to weigh this out. There could be a carom off the 9 ball for the 13 ball. I think it bounces high, but it's something else for him to look at. He could also thin the 7 or thin the 11 and put the cue ball back up table. He doesn't have to shoot here. Okay, so he's called the 6 ball. He's going to try to cut the 6 in. He should probably either hit the 11 or hit the 10. Not guaranteed a shot here after he pockets this ball if he does pocket it. And I think he's got the 10 ball, guys. I'm pretty sure he can cut the 10 in. I don't think the 3 blocks the 10. It may. If it does, he could always thin the left side of this 11, put the cue ball back up table, and let Tony go ahead and play the combination. I didn't even see him look at the 10 ball, so the 10 ball must not be an option. 3 ball must block it. Looks to me like the 10 is cuttable though. I think he's got to check the 10 ball here and see if it's a viable option. I think if he cuts the 10, he'll shape on the 7 because he'll go right into the 15 with a little inside English. I like this 10 ball though. Okay guys, we're going to see Dell's pocketing, which is very strong. And that will be a good enough shot to keep him going. He can play the 7 now, play position on the 3 ball, and use that as a break shot. So just want to go swing around this 11 ball, get back towards the middle of the table, and then he can use the 3 balls as a break shot. Now he hit that perfectly. He'll go right into the 9 and open everything up, and he's got the 15 balls insurance. If he doesn't get another shot, which would be very unlikely. Okay, actually thinned the stack, went underneath it instead of went through it. So he's got lots of options. So he's got the 9 ball, and he can probably play position for the 12 ball by going into the 5, or go back around the table for the 1. A very nice shot by Dell on the 10 ball to keep his run going. Now if he's got angle on the 12, he could draw it back into the stack right now and solve his problem. But he must not have the right angle because he's opting for the 5-ball instead. At the moment, the 12 balls probably is going his break shot at the moment. So he's trying to get above the 14 so he can open these balls up. Maybe develop the 4 ball as a potential break shot next. If he can hit this lightly with draw and clip the 4 ball, 4 ball will be his next break shot. Okay, great shot by Dell. He's got to play position on this 13 ball, and then the rest of the rack should be pretty easy. Now to me it looks like the 12 to the 15 to the 13 to the 2 would be my pattern here. So 12, 15, 13, 2. I would use the 2 as the key ball to my break shot, which is the 4 ball. Now if he plays a stop shot here, he'll have shape on the 13, and he can use the 15 as his key ball. Not a bad option, and he'll be nice and close to the 13, so it's a high pocketing probability. He's just opting to have more cue ball movement at the end of the rack instead of right now. He's going to try to throw this ball in. Good position on the 15. Quality shot from Dell. He had to throw that in. That wasn't a clean shot, meaning it didn't naturally go. So use top right English there. Hit the ball a little thicker. Now he's just going to use straight top. Come 2 rails towards the 4. He might have needed a touch of right English there to get a little better angle on the 4, but he's got something. Guys, this is Michael Yednak coming at you live from New York City's Amsterdam Billiards and Bar. Sean Morgan is the Chief League Director here for the Straight Pull League. Does an exceptional job. Got a lot of these professionals to come through and play in this Straight Pull League. And Sean does actually provide lessons here, as well as Tony Robles, myself, and Dell. Okay, now Dell didn't have much angle on that shot and put his stroke together, which is why he opened up some balls. That was not a thin angle, so he had to create the power with his stroke to continue his run. He doesn't have any natural shots from what I see, so he's either going to have to play a 6-5 combination or maybe a 15-11 combination, or a 2-1 combination. But some sort of combination is the only way that he gets to maintain his run. A couple of our friends I'd like to mention: Jacoby Custom Cues, Narcoleptic Chalk Holders, which are 3D printed chalk holders, HighRockStore.com, Kamui, and as you know, Tony uses Predator equipment primarily. Dell also uses Lights Out Apparel, PQ Tips, G2 Talk, Chalk and Chips, and Tips, sorry. And he's currently using an OB Fusion cue with a Keith Hammond butt. Zion's V just walked in the house, guys. Zion's V, ZZ Top. And Dell tried a tough combination, wasn't able to continue. And current score 41-43 in favor of Tony Robles. It was a little unfortunate with how well he hit that break shot not to get an open shot, but had he left himself a little more angle, he probably would have had a shot. So really the 8 ball is what cost him that key ball up table. Alright guys, so Tony Robles is probably going to get rid of the 6, the 8, and the 11. But he needs to develop the 14 ball as a break shot, or the 15 ball as a break shot. 14 ball seems a little more likely. But he doesn't have a valid break shot at the moment unless he uses an under the stack break shot. He could play the 11 and try to go into the 3 and bump the 3 up. Okay, good attempt by Tony. He had the 3 as insurance, or the 1 or the 9, had he bumped the 3 into position, or the 8 ball. Now Tony cuts the 13, he can push the 12 over, or he can push the 14 over. I think the 14 is a little safer because he should have a shot after. If he pushes the 12 over, he might not have a shot. Because the 1-9 is a little tied up and the 2 blocks the 7. He doesn't have to get a shot in the 15, so it's a little risky. I'm not sure if he can develop it yet. Tony's really trying to figure out what he can do to create a break shot at this point. If he can go into the 15, he could probably push the 14 out and probably get quality position on the 8 or the 1 in the corner. There's no guarantee here, so he's really trying to decide, like, if I hit the bottom of the 15, where will my cue go? If I hit the top of the 15, he wants to hit the bottom of the 15 and push the 15 out for a break shot, or the 12 or the 14. It's a little risky. He could play the 9 first and then do it, and then he would have the 1 as insurance, and I actually like that a little more. But let's see what he does here. Okay, he opted to play position for the 5 ball. 7 ball, maybe push the 9 down into position. So he's going to play 5-7, push the 9 into break shot position, and that'll solve almost all of his problems. Okay, now watch this 9 ball, guys. He's going to push it right into break shot position. Now the 1 ball is insurance. He should be off to the races. Great thought process by Tony to develop a break shot. This is a little more obscure, so I'm glad you guys are getting to watch this. He hit it a little hard though. Hit it a lot hard. So now he's going to have to create something else. It's a shame because I thought he had the perfect angle. He must have had a little thinner than he had hoped. If he can get on the 2, he might be able to push the 12 out. Had the 1 as insurance. He's got to get the exacting on the 2 to push the 12 out. This rack seemed pretty open, but you can see there's a lot of work ahead for Tony. He's double-crossed me a little here, so he's probably trying to develop something else. I'm going to have to wait and see what Tony does here. He might develop an underneath the rack break shot. Or develop the 15. Alright, he got the right angle to develop the 15. If he's got the 12, we'll play the 12 first, then the 2 in the opposite corner and use the 1 as his key ball. If he got a little funny on the 12, then I'll have to do something else. Yeah, 12-2-1 would be ideal. Okay, he's going to go 1-2, which I think is a little different. He's going back to the 2-1. Notice how precise Tony's being on his desire to get the proper angle on the 1 ball for his key ball. You want to make sure that you got precise angle so he wouldn't be too steep on the 15 ball. Stop shot position for his break shot. Perfect key ball. Amazing run out by Tony. That was really tough, guys. It seemed like an open rack, but he really had to work hard to develop that break shot. Quality decision making by Tony, and amazing execution just to get out that rack. Current score, which should be on your screen, guys, 56-41. This should be a top ball break shot. He'll use top left English from his perspective. Top outside. Steve Lipsky on the table next to Tony is doing the same thing, performing a break shot. Now Tony is double checking his angle, make sure he goes into the right ball. Like I said, this should be top left English. I expect the rack should be pretty open after this break shot. Got a little double kiss there, but didn't cause him too much trouble. He's good on the 4 ball. Should be able to play position on the 6 ball next. If he doesn't like the 4, meaning he'll have too much of an angle on the 6, he can play the 8 first. He's looking now to see what kind of angle he has on the 6. He could go ahead and play the 8 first, and then he doesn't have to worry about the about disturbing the 10 ball, which is a potential break shot. Okay, he's opted for the 4. I would try to go ahead and avoid the 6 here, or avoid the 10, but I think he has to go into it. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, he was able to clearly miss the 10. That's why he opted to go ahead and shoot the 4. If he wasn't able to miss the 10, I don't think he would have shot the 4, because the 10 is his ideal break shot at the moment. He has the 9 right now. He can pocket the 9. He doesn't have to worry if he goes into the 10 at all. Ideally, Tony would get rid of the 7 and the 8, and then use the 8 to get back up table. Again, you want to get balls that are sort of stranded out of the way as quickly as possible. 7 led pretty naturally to the 8 ball. He can play the 8, get on the 2 or the 12. And his last situation is really the 5-13, which he'll try to figure out a nice, good attack plan for. He's probably going to get rid of the 2, the 12, maybe even the 1 and the 9 if he can. Otherwise, he'll use one of those balls to get back on this 14 ball. Separate those two, that little cluster, the 13-5. He'll keep the 3 as insurance if possible. Looks like he's going 9, 12, 14. He'll tickle the 5 out, and then I'll have shape on the 3. He'll leave an angle on the 14 so he can just clip the 13 and solve that little problem. Now he won't tie up the 5 with the 10, so he'll be cautious as to how hard he hits this ball. Make sure he doesn't form another cluster. Now if he's straight on the 12 up table, he'll shoot that now. If he's not, he'll shoot the 3. Okay, so he's got the 1 ball. He's going to shoot the 1. 12, 10, or 12, 5, 3, 11. He'll use the 11 as his key ball, I believe. And whatever he chooses, either the 5 or the 10, he'll keep last. So maybe 5, 3, 11, or 10, 3, 11. Now that's good to know, because I probably would have kept the 10, thinking that the 11 was a better key ball to the 10 than to the 5. But he decided to keep the 5 ball, probably because it's a little higher up on the break stack, and Tony probably just likes a higher break shot. Now he must have gotten a little thin on this ball, because he wants to be pretty straight in the 11. He's taking a little extra time. I think if he's funny, he can play position on the 11 in the corner, or he can go around 3 rails. But I would be surprised if he didn't just kill this ball. It's definitely awkward. Okay, decided to go the 3 rail route. Got pretty straight on the 11. He'd like to back up just a little bit, so he's opting to go ahead and jack up and pocket this ball, get a little more parallel on the shot. Quality shooting by Tony Robles. Guys, I'm going to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
I think at the beginning there was problem with the streaming. We lost viewers. I don't think it was us.
Alright, so Tony had a very successful break shot, obviously. 2 balls are down now. Looks like the 8 or the 1 could be a potential break shot. It's got a little cluster at the bottom to deal with the 13, the 7, the 14. He's going to address that immediately. If he can get on the 10 ball and the 12 ball, then the 8 and the 1 will both be potential break shots. So I suspect he's going to try to attack those soon as well. He could also play the 10 ball on the side if he got the proper position to do so off the 7. Makes the pocketing a little more difficult. He would like to play the 10 ball in the lower left corner. Now with this 14 ball, he should be able to go into the 9, get position on the 10, or avoid the 9, and play position on the 11, get rid of those balls up table, and then make it a half table game. Since he does have 3 balls up table, Tony does sometimes like to use one of those balls as a key ball at the end, since he has so many key balls up there. So don't be surprised if Tony doesn't leave those balls up there for a later time. I personally like to play the 14 and go into the 9 here. Unless the 9's clear, I might shoot the 9 up table, but I think the 11 blocks the corner pocket. Okay, I don't think Tony has a easy bridge here, so he's just going to pocket the ball, let the cue ball go up table, and probably attack the 11 next. Okay, he's got either the 10 or the 11. I do suspect he'll go 11, 2, 6. Get back down table for the 10 or the 9. Right, since he was able to get rid of these balls up table, he'll use the 6 to get back on the 10 or the 9. I think he's a little thinner than he liked, so he might actually come back for the 12. He's got options here. If he comes back for the 12, he'll have the 10 or 9 after he pockets the 12. Yeah, he's deciding whether to go forward for the 10, or the 9, or the 8 may go, or come back for the 12, spin around for the 10, 9, and 8. Once you have the rack open and you're down to 5 to 8 balls, usually you can pick out your pattern. This one's a little more obscure than most racks, so he's got to take a little extra time, make sure he gets the right pattern. Tony's also given Steve Lipsky a little due respect and letting him run some balls out in the table next to him without being in the way. The table next to Tony is Steve Lipsky versus Chris Kelly. Chris Kelly's made a lot of jumps in his game, and it's good to see him in the playoffs against Steve. Of course, we see Steve here a lot when it comes to playoff position for straight pull. I believe Tony's going to go forward with this. I think he's decided on a forward shot, so he'll use top right. Favoring more top than right here. He doesn't want to come too close to the 3. Came a little close to the 3, so he might have used a little more right than he wanted. He still has the 9 if all else fails. And he'll be playing position for the 3 or the 12 if he plays the 9. This is a 4-rail position shot. I don't see him killing this ball, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4-rail position shot for the 3 or the 12. Got sort of on the 50-yard line. I'm not sure if Dell's a shot in the 8 or the 10 right now. We'll know briefly. So you notice he took a lot of time on that 6 ball, and was just a little bit out of line to get. He was sort of at the 50-yard line as far as positioning. You could come back for the 12, or you could go forward for the 8 or the 10. He opted to go forward, but the angle was a little too thick for him to get natural position, so he was trying to force position a little there. Got a little out of line and got punished. Now Dell steps to the table. He can go 9, 3, 12 and use the 1 ball as his break shot. Or he can go 9, 12, 3. I like 9, 3, 12 myself. Play for the 3 in the side. He's doing something different. Maybe the 12's a good break shot. I thought the 12 was a little low, but maybe Dell likes the 12 ball. Yeah, the 12 must be out a little further than we thought. And must be a good break shot. If it's not, Dell would pull back for the 3 ball on the side break shot. Not an ideal position, though. This 12 is low, so he's going to have to use a draw stroke on the 12 to get into the stack, so he might go ahead and use the 3 balls of break shot instead. Okay, I think he was trying to attain a 2-rail position to clip the bottom 2 left corner balls in the break shot. I'm not sure if he got there or not. We'll know shortly. He might have a 1 rail into the side. Unfortunately, that break shot tends to get frozen to the stack, so we'll know shortly how good he got in the shot. Thanks again for watching, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the match and hopefully the commentary as well. You're watching Dell Sim at the table. Tony Robles is in the chair at the moment. That's me on the screen there, Michael Yednak. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks to Jacoby, Narcoleptic, High Rock, Kamui, Amsterdam Billiards, of course, and thebilliardist.com. Got the Highlander at the table now. Let's see what damage he can do here. Of course, if he's funny, he can always play it safe. He doesn't have to shoot here. I think he's trying to draw into the 8 ball. He was able to get in the 8, and the 13 ball landed in perfect shape to go back into the stack, or he could try to play position for the 11 and open him up with the 11. Or the 9, actually. He's got a lot of options here. I think he can go into this safely. He has the 5's insurance. And then if he doesn't open up the stack well, he should be able to use the 9 ball to open it up the rest of the way. Dell does have a stroke, so he might just try to obliterate the rack now. That's what he chose to do. And luckily he's got a shot in the 14 because the 11 is slightly blocked by the 5. Much better to play the 14, not to play a combination. So looking at the rack sort of prematurely, he's got the 6 balls of potential break shot. It looks like the 9 or the 10 might be out of the stack. They might be in the stack, but he could also develop those if they're not, if they are in the stack. He was able to get out of the trouble situation there. He didn't want to play the 11-5 right away unless he got the right angle. Even now, I don't think I'd play it. I just don't see natural position to other shots. I would play the 15 or the 6 and play position for the 5 and use the 11 to get back out above the balls. Dells looks like he's going to go ahead and take the combination, which means he must be able to hold the 11 for position. He's not. And he drew out. And I think he has a 6 ball on the side. That honestly was a little risky for my my liking, but he was able to go ahead and get back up table with a draw stroke. And guess to continue another day. He might even be able to develop the 8 here, or the 9. Okay, developed the 9, but hit it a little too firm for a perfect break shot, but I think the 2 is good. And if the 2 is good, he'll get rid of the 10, the 4, the 7, and use the 2 as his break shot. Usually once you've established your break shot, a lot of guys like to go ahead and take out the balls underneath the break shot as quickly as possible. Meaning, if you're going to hold the 2 for your break shot, you get rid of the 4, the 10, and the 7. And then you use one of the other balls above to maintain position on your break. Adele's following suit and getting rid of the 4, the 10, and probably the 7 next. And now he's got options. The 9-8 is a good end pattern to get on the 2. I'm not sure if Adele sees that or not, but it'd be nice to hold those 2 balls for the end. Okay, he might have even made the 9 a little better to get on the 8. From here, I like the 12, 11, 15, 9, 8. He got a little awkward for the 15 ball. So he's going to go 9, 15, 8 instead, I believe, or 9, 8, 15. Probably 9, 8, 15 from where he stands now. You could see that if he had the 9 last to the 8, he'd have very little cue ball movement to get in break position. Now he's going to have to move the cue ball from the 8 to the 15, and then from the 15 to the 2. A little more demanding and a little more risk involved. If you notice Tony's runs, he was very precise in his break shots. His cue ball were almost a stop shot. And Dell's having to move the cue ball a little more than Tony. But let's see if he gets a good break shot here. Okay. Quality recovery there. Got nicely in the middle of the table for the 2 ball. The 2 ball's a little lower on the stack. So this is still a pretty good break shot. He should be able to draw into the stack with some power. Maybe go back up to the short rail now. Or a stun draw and sort of keep it in the middle. Again, the classic way would be more of a stun draw, and the more modern approach would be to draw it all the way back to the top rail and out. A friend of mine mentioned that if you're playing high caliber or straight pull, you're a lot more offensive as a player, so it's typically a higher percentage to go ahead and play the 2, draw into the stack hard, go back to the short rail and back out, because you give yourself more opportunities to put a high run together. If you sort of hit this with a stun draw, only get a couple balls out, now you have to work really hard to get your run going. Dell's a power player, so I suspect he's going to draw right off this 11 ball, back up to the middle and hit the short rail and come back out. Okay, so what happened there was he actually hit the lower side of the ball, which kept the cue ball down table. Still used a power stroke, still got a good result, but just which ball he hit was a little off from what I thought. I thought he was hitting the top of the 11, and he hit the bottom of the 11, I believe. Both cases, a power draw still works nicely, though. You can see this match is nice and close. Tony has 79, Dell has 61. Both players haven't made many serious errors. Primary errors were really positional. Dell did miss a break shot, but let's see if Dell chooses to play the 14 and go into the stack now, or not.
Somebody said Dale shoots fast.
what Dell could do is play the 15 and go into the 1 or the 6, and he's got the 5 and 3 as insurance. Or he can wait. That's a little unfortunate, but I believe he has the 5 or the 7 still. Now I actually accidentally clipped the 14 on that shot. That's what caused the cue ball to get a little out of line. I would check to see if the 1-6 was pretty wired. It doesn't look like it is from this angle, so I doubt there's any opportunity there. I might play the 5 in position on the 7 first, just to make sure that the 3 ball has a pocket. Okay, smart shot by Dell there. He attacked the 3 to make sure that he had shape on the 5. That will alleviate the 3 problem. I think he can play position on the 8 and the side if he chooses. He's got to address this cluster pretty quickly, though. He's starting to get a little out of hand. He's starting to lose his potential opportunities to open him up. A lot of the league members are sweating this match. This is a high-profile match for the league. 2 of the top players, the other players that are still playing, Steve Lipsky's on the other table adjacent to us, and Alaska, Sean Morgan, runs the league, so isn't allowed to play. But those are the top 4 players in the league. Unfortunately, this isn't a double elimination event, so whoever loses here will have to go home and won't be able to continue in the playoffs. Now, Joe just played a safety there. Got a little out of line, tried to open him up a little bit with the 8 ball, wasn't able to get anything else open, so he opted for a safety. Tony Robles is a very strong safety player, and it'll be tough for Dell to come out of this ahead. But he did play a quality safety, so Tony has to come up with something creative here. I think he can push the 11 to the rail and freeze Dell on the 13. Or he can play the 10 and go 2 rails up table, trying to get him on the Brunswick. He opted for the 10 ball, 2 rails up to the Brunswick. Now Dell's pretty forced to go ahead and shoot at this 1 ball. And there's no real value in pocketing it because there's no natural shape. So I might go ahead and thin the 3 and try to go back up table. I think that's the highest percentage here, is to thin the 3 and go back up table, or maybe thin the 11 and go back up table. I'm sorry, the 3 or the 12. Thin the 3 or thin the 12 ball and put the cue ball back up table. I don't like shooting from here. So you guys are currently watching Del Sim at the table. He tried to thin the 3, but hit it too thick, and now Tony Robles steps to the table. Quality shot in the 3 ball, and can probably get position on the 1 in the same pocket. Carlos and Panda just walked by, a couple of our regulars here at Amsterdam Billiards. I think Tony can swing over for the 1. But maybe he's considering something else here. Okay, play position for the 1 in the same pocket. Now when he pockets this, he can go into the 6. And he should be all right. Or he can try to avoid the 6 and go into the 13. The 13 or 14. If he goes into 13 or 14 with sort of a stun follow, I think he'll be all right with inside English or reverse English. He's looking to draw into the 11, 13, and 14. That'll also open up his problems. Good shot by Tony there. Play the 12 now. And the 11 could be a break shot. If he doesn't have the 11 as a break shot, he'll have to play position from the 10 to get to the 14, the 11, and then 13, and use the 6 as his break shot. So he's either going to use the 6 ball or the 11 ball as his break shot, would be my guess. I think I like 12, 10, 14, 11, 13, 6. Let's see what Tony decides here. Oh, you know, I think he was trying to get proper on the 6 to push the 11 out. Not sure if he got too thin on the 6 or not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was trying to get on the 6 to push the 11 up a little higher and use the 10 balls insurance. I don't think he has that option now, so he might end up using the 10 balls as break shot. I think the 11's higher than it looks, guys, and I think he can use the 11 as a break shot, and if he can, what he'll do is he'll go 14, 13, 10 ball, play position for the break shot, 11 ball off the 10. So he's got two options here. He can play for the 10 ball break shot or the 11 ball break shot. He's still keeping his options open at the moment. I think he came up a little short on the 6, or on the 13 ball. Not sure. Yeah, he's playing the 10 and playing position on the 13 or the 11. I think he can go forward 2 rails with inside English and get shape on this 11 ball. And all he needs to do is get to the middle of the table here. He should have a good break shot. Right, great speed control by Tony. And very tough rack again. And Tony gets out. It just shows Tony's experience, able to negotiate those tough positions. He's seen those a lot more than other players, so he's able to negotiate that very well. Nice solution focused by Tony. As you guys can see, the stats, that's by Pascal Dufray. This is program software. Anyone interested in that, it's called the 14.1 engine. That's for stats and scoring by Pascal. There's a lovely photo of myself there. Sorry guys, it's the best I had. But you see Jacoby, custom cues, narcoleptic, High Rock, Kamui, Amsterdam Billiards, of course, and thebilliardist.com. Now Tony's a little thick on this ball. He would have liked to have been a little further to the right. So he's probably playing position on the 4 ball or the 7 ball. Looks like the 4 ball is going to come out. He was able to get a little more energy on that than I thought. And he's got a shot in the 2 or the 4. The 5-15 is tied up, so that'll be a problem he'll have to solve. And he still has a lot of congestion in the middle of the rack. He might use the 7 ball to open the rest of these up. By that I mean the 7 ball on the side. Tony's actually a little awkward on this ball. He could hit the 13 and go into the 8, but he's not going to alleviate that much. He's just going to move the 9 ball and the 7 ball out. He might actually be better off playing position for the 7, off the 13, just doing sort of a stop shot, playing the 7, and then maybe using the 9 or the 8 after. All right, so as we suspected, he only got 3 balls out. Maybe that's enough for him to do some damage. But he's going to have problems with the 15 and the 5. And this little cluster in the middle with the 8, 6, 12, 10, 1, and 3. I think he might have got the right angle on the 14 to attack those now. If he does, he will. Because he needs those balls open, sort of help him really with the 5-15. Try to go right into the 6 here. Okay. So he hit that in the top of the 6, wasn't able to hit the 6 thick. And he's in a little bit of trouble here. He's got to come with a great shot, either the 7 ball or the 9. He could also take a foul, but I don't know. Dell's such a strong player. I wouldn't leave this to Dell to go ahead and fire on these, but most humans you would go ahead and take an intentional foul, leave the cue jacked up over the 12, and let your opponent at least shoot at it, or at least take a couple fouls before you shoot at it yourself, so your opponent's on a foul.
That's what I was afraid of, the cue ball coming back and hitting it.
So Tony tried to play a dead ball, but the cue ball got in the way. Guys, we're having a real suspenseful match here, 91-67. Still anybody's ball game. The Highlander has a shot in the 1, which he'll probably have to take first. Tony's making me laugh a little bit. Now, as the table stands, the 9 leads to the 7, which leads to a 12-ball break shot. So if Dell has a choice, he'll leave those last 3 balls for his end game. I'm not sure if he sees it the same way. Looks like he's attacking one of those 3 balls now. So if Dell goes ahead and shoots the 12 ball, he should make sure he's above the 3 so he can at least alleviate the 5-15 problem. And looks like he's going to push out the 10 with the 3 ball. Now that would normally be a good development. The problem is that he still has this cluster at the bottom with the 5-15, and neither of those 2 balls go. So what he's going to have to do is play the 6 ball, play position on the 7 to go 1 rail into the 5-15. And he's going to have to get a good roll. He's going to have to get a shot in the 5 or the 15 or the 8. I think I personally would have attacked that ball with that previous break shot and worked from there. Now, again, he could take the 10 ball, go into the 5-15, use the 7 ball as a break shot or the 6 as a break shot. I think that's actually a little safer myself because this 5-15 kills your run. So you have potential break shot with the 6 ball, you have potential break shot with the 7 ball, and potential break shot with the 10 ball, but the 10 ball alleviates your problem. So you sacrifice the 10 and you play jam up position on either the 7 or the 6 and you continue your run. He's a little frustrated because he doesn't have an angle to get rid of the 5-15, so now he's going to be traveling a lot. What he's opting to do is play the 6, the 7, the 15, and use the 5 balls as break shot. And, great shot by Dell to pocket that 6 ball. That was no small order. On the table adjacent, Steve Lipsky ran a 125. That's our Stevie. It's just Stevie Patterns, sick player out of the New York area. Recently had an article written about him, guys, in Easy Billiards. You guys should check that out. It's pretty awesome. And I personally would like to get underneath the 5 here and get my cue frozen to the rail, where I could use the top outside English shot on this 5 ball. And that's what Dell got too. He got a nice angle on the 5. Nice creative out by Dell. That wasn't standard either. I know I've been talking about Tony's patterns, but Dell has really improved in his pattern play recently, and he's putting high numbers together pretty regularly. So Dell is definitely in this match, and if I could check out the score here, it looks like 91-76 currently. Both players having a good game. A couple weird scenarios caught both players, but quality game by both players. Now this is the top right English shot. Dell's got some women attacking him from the outside. So this is top right. He'll hit the 10 ball and the 12, and then the right English, when he goes to the rail, push him back to the middle. Now he didn't have enough top on that ball. He might be fortunate and have a shot in the 10, but he hit that a little lower than he intended and didn't have follow on that shot, and that's why he's where he is. Now Dell's very tall, so as I said before, most humans would have a more difficult time at this, but Dell has very long fingers. He's playing a stop shot, so he's playing a safety on Tony. And a little unfortunate that the 10 didn't bounce out, and I think Tony has a shot in the 10. If you guys are curious as to balls that are pocketable, you're looking at the 10 ball. The second diamond through the side pocket, if it's on the outside of that, then the 10 ball is a very makeable shot in the side. Once the 10 ball gets inside that line, it becomes questionable. So Tony's probably going to go ahead and play a safety here because he doesn't like the 10 ball position. It's just too close to the side pocket and very missable. And Tony's going to try to save him behind the 9, 4, and 11. And he favored the side where Dell would have to play a combination shot on those balls up in the upper right corner if he wanted to keep shooting. There is a 6 ball rail first off the 15 possibility as well. Not high probability, but just another shot. And, Dell's playing the cross corner, so he's going to use top with a little bit of left English. Cross this over. And he just hit the point, so just barely missed it. And if Tony can play the 10 and go into the stack, I suspect he'll do that now. I would probably play the 15 first, try to attain the same position, and then do it. Then I have insurance with the 6 and 8. I do like getting rid of the 15 before I play this 10 ball and go into the stack. The 12 ball might also work. Tony's going to go ahead and fire. It would be bad luck for him not to get a shot, so I see why he's doing it. Now, I'm not going to say he made an error there, but had he taken away the 15, he'd have the 8 ball right now. So, you know, those are just things that you got to consider when you're shooting yourself and weigh the percentages and decide whether you're going to do it. Now, it is a little bit of bad luck for Tony not to have a shot, but again, you can guarantee yourself a shot if you open up the line by taking away the 15 ball. You know, you'd have the 8 ball or the 6 ball, at least the 8 ball. Now Tony's got to either bank the 12 or play a safety. So guys, you're currently watching Tony Robles, the silent assassin. He has an exhibition coming up with Kevin Clark, which will be a charity event. Please look at his website for more details on that. He's got an exhibition match with Earl Strickland coming up October 25th, live here at Amsterdam Billiards. Tony also runs the NAPL League in the New York area, as well as the Predator Tour. The New York City 8-Ball Championship is coming up soon, October 19th through the 20th. The Steinway Classic, October 5th through the 17th. And a little quick shout out to Gail, Jonathan, and Antonio, Tony's main supporters. It looks like Tony took an intentional foul, I believe, and just put the cue ball up table. He's going to let Dell go ahead and shoot at the 4-ball. And Dell pretty much has to shoot at this shot. He's got a high percentage to make this ball. You can see he's stepping away from the shot before he goes down the line. He wants to make sure that he sees it nice and clearly. You can notice that Dell's bridge hand is a little different than most players play. Quality shot by Dell. And I think a little bit of a decision error from Tony not to go ahead and play the 15. And Dell's going to go ahead and clean the cue ball. Now in the past, some players have waxed the cue ball with their towel. That's obviously not what Dell's doing, but when a player cleans it, you usually want the ref to clean it. Obviously, Dell and Tony are good with each other and know what they're doing, but I would be mindful that if you're ever playing someone for money or something in that scenario and you want to make sure that nothing funny's happened, just use a brand new cloth or something that's not tainted with wax or something. Okay, now if I were Dell, I would get rid of this 15 ball. It's been causing a little bit of a nuisance for both players for a little bit of time. Get rid of the 15, play position on either the 6 or the 8 or the 12, and then go ahead and attack the stack. Now if he's funny and can't get position back on those walls, then he should take the 12. But mind you, he could just hit the 14 and not open anything up, or he could hit the 7 and not open anything up and get stuck. Dell's a little more fortunate than Tony was, has a bunch of options. Still a little funny for break shot position. I might actually play the 2, then the 9, and then the 7 if the 9 goes by the 14, because then you can go ahead and continue your run easily. By taking the 9 out, I could use the 14 ball as my break shot. Now, Dell was trying, I believe, to develop the 9 there. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's starting to run out of break shot options. And the 15 ball, I don't believe, goes from our perspective. Now, if he can hit the outside of the 3 ball, he'll create a break shot with the 3 ball, and he should have shape on the 9 after. And if he misses the 3, he'll probably have the 9 ball. Guys, we appreciate everyone watching the stream. A lot of fans out there for straight pull. I'm a big lover of straight pull, obviously Pascal is, and you're watching this league because of Amsterdam Billiards, and Sean Morgan is the league director for the straight pull league. Without those two facets, we wouldn't have a quality straight pull in New York, at least not in Manhattan. There are some other good straight pull leagues out there, but Manhattan, this is it.
125 plus against him.
We heard Chris Kelly had the misfortune of running into Steve Lipsky in the first round, who ran 125 plus balls on him to gain a stronghold. Did you put any numbers down, Chris? No. Yeah, Steve
It was all safety valves in the beginning, and he took most of the first 2 racks and then ran from there.
Dell tried to come with a 9-ball, very tough shot, and looked like he swinged his arm a little bit there. Maybe tightened up his right hand. Wasn't quite able to put that down, and left Tony a bit awkward as it is. I think Tony can play the 9-ball up table and get natural shape on the 15. The only good thing about this situation for Dell is there's no break shot at the moment. So it looks like Tony's going to have to play more of an obscure break shot from here. And I got to say, this 15 ball has been up in this upper right corner way too long. Both these players have had opportunities sort of to get rid of it, and I think they've prioritized some other balls, but this has sort of been a nuisance, the whole rack. And Tony's either playing this in the side or the corner. He might be straight in the side, so he may have to play this in the side pocket. If he has a choice, he'll play in the corner because it's a little bigger pocket. Yes, he hit the rail pretty high up. Almost made it, but just tried. Tony's a little frustrated with himself. And that'll actually be Dell's break shot, is my guess. If he can hold on to that 9-ball, he'll use that as a break shot. And I think that's what he's opted to do. He'll go 3, 6, 8, or 8, 6, and use the 9-ball as his break shot. And when he does play position for the 9-ball, he'll want to favor getting the cue ball against the rail that he's bridging on currently. Wow, that 6-ball barely went, and Dell actually missed it on the left side of the pocket. And Tony's going to take a brief break, so I'm going to take a break as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Before I leave, I'm going to take a moment to recognize that our friend Dave Jacoby of Jacoby Customs Cues is being inducted into the Wisconsin State Billiard Hall of Fame for his 30-plus years of exemplary service in the industry. Special thanks to Dave, and Brandon Jacoby, his son, also is an amazing cue maker. You're watching Pascal's software, the 14.1 engine for stats and scoring. If anyone's interested in pursuing that, please PM Pascal for that information. You're listening to myself, Michael Yednak. We're here live in New York City at Amsterdam Billiards and Bar. And our Master of Ceremonies, Sean Alaska Morgan, is a professional player here and provides lessons along with myself. We'll talk to you guys shortly. Again, Steve Lipsky just ran a 100-plus balls run. I believe it was 125-plus. And he's actually standing next to me. Maybe he'll give a little shout-out while I take a break.
All right, everybody. Hey, so actually, I have no idea what the current score is in this game. So where can I see that, Pascal? 90. Oh, it's a very close game. I wish that I could actually stay to do more commentary. I have to leave to catch a bus pretty soon. Here we are. And so...
Yeah, so, Steve, I heard you ran 125 in the other game, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that I began on an 18 and ran to 143. It's possible that I started a little bit before that. But yeah, and I missed a shot I probably should have made, but I guess it was reasonably tough.
So you ran out and you didn't continue, right?
No. I ran from 18 to 143.
Okay, to 143, okay.
Yep. All right, and then I'm not even sure which match I play next, the winner of whom.
We're going to see the chart soon, actually. It's I put the playoff in the chart. Steve Lipsky, Chris Kelly. You're going to play the winner of Sami Islam and Kirill Safronov.
That's a very tough match. Both of those guys can definitely play quite well. It looks like that game's been going on for a while, so I'm not sure. It's probably pretty close.
So the way the playoffs work, the chart that you saw, it's not entirely exact. After the first 2 rounds, it will be reseeded.
They mix it up.
Yeah, with the result of the regular season. So you see Tony and Steve are in the same side of the chart. That doesn't mean they cannot meet in the final. They could meet in the final depending on who are the other 2 semi-finalists.
Right.
So that would be pretty awesome. Final Tony
Yeah.
versus Steve, that would be cool.
In the last 2 or 3 seasons, I don't think it's happened. I've played Tony every time,
Yeah.
but I think it was the match before the finals. So
Yeah. I remember the only time I remember losing is against Tim Edmonds in the semi-final. That's the only time I remember
Tim
losing.
is, I'm telling you, that guy plays good.
Okay, we are back.
All right, so it looks like he's pretty flat on this ball. No, I guess. I'm sorry, I couldn't even see that ball by the corner. All right. It's a nice shot. All right, so on this break shot, very important to play it with some low. The problem with playing it with top or nothing is that it's very common to go right off the rack and boom, right in the opposite corner.
With an arc, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. We have Mike back.
All right, guys, the straight pull genius has left the building. Steve Lipsky played amazing his last match. Tony's looking great for his break shot. This shot, a lot of times you can hit it a little too thickly and miss the whole rack. He's ideally trying to hit the 1 bar or the 5 ball. Part of this key is to hit really about a quarter of the ball with maximum outside. Okay, great shot by Tony. No easy shot out the gate. He'll probably take the 7 ball. That's the easiest I see. He does have the 6 ball possibility, maybe the 10 ball. I'm not sure. If he's got the 10, he'll play the 10 first. If not, he'll play the 7. Steve Lipsky, you were just listening to, is probably too shy to say it, but there's a big article on him. AZ Billiards, just look up Steve Lipsky, straight pull, AZ Billiards. Should be able to find it. It's an amazing article by an amazing player. Apparently, he did not have the 10 ball, so he opted for the 7 ball. Got back in line, got right back to the middle of the table. 4 ball's a potential break shot. Obviously, we're thinking a little premature, but the 13-4 would be a great key ball break shot scenario. So he might opt to use some other ball to open up the stack. Tony's looking to go ahead and close the door here. If he can get on this 11 ball, he can use it to go into those last 3 balls. How the 10 ball is insurance and the 1 ball. He should be sitting pretty well here. So he's going to play the 2 ball, play position on the 11, and then try to go ahead and put this rack away. The 3 ball doesn't look like it'll hit the 4, or at least shouldn't move the 4 into a bad position. The 4 may be a little higher than I thought, though. But I think it just developed the 4 nicely. Rack's pretty open now. Tony's just got to concentrate and plan out his pattern. He should be able to play a good position on either the 3 ball or the 13 ball. I think he was trying to get on the 3 ball there, because if he got in a 3, he could sort of get into those middle balls that he really wants to get rid of. You know, the 3, the 12, the 14, the 1. If he's going to use the 4 balls as break shot, he's got to have those other balls out of the way. You know, so trying to clear out that area will really make his run out a lot simpler. Got Sammy Islam in the house. He's also sweating the match. A lot of guys, a lot of the better straight pull players around here are watching this match with a lot of understanding and respect of the players in hand. Now what Tony could do is play the 8, push the 15 ball towards the side pocket, and then use the 5 ball as a break shot. The 5 ball might actually be better than the 4 ball. The 4 ball may be too high. So if Tony can develop the 15 ball as a key ball, that might be a very valuable option here. Okay, instead of developing the 5 ball, instead of developing the 15 ball, he developed the 5 ball. Same scenario. Now he'll use the 15 ball as his key ball, unless he got blocked, and then he'll have to use his key ball to get back in line. The 1 ball is not a bad key ball, the 14 ball is not a bad key ball, and the 12 ball is not a bad key ball. So if he does have to eliminate the 15, it's not the end of the world. Now, some amateur players might get so caught up in holding that 15 ball that they shoot the 1 ball and try to go into the 15 softly. That's a very poor decision. Just accept that you have to shoot your break shot out or your key ball out and plan a different pattern. There's always multiple key balls to get proper shape on the 5 ball. All those balls at the bottom are good. He's just got to go ahead and decide up front, which is what he's doing. That's why he's taking a few more moments. I think he can follow forward for the 3 in the side. Play position on the 14 next. He's got options here. He can play the 1 ball or the 14. I think Tony's going to go ahead and use the 1 ball as his break shot and use the 12 and 14 as his key balls. Now he chose that because he couldn't find a good way to get back to the 5 ball that didn't involve too much cue ball movement or too much work. A very wise decision by Tony to go ahead and abandon ship on the 5 and continue his run. And this is a top outside shot, so this will be top left English. And Tony's well within the kill zone. He's run 50 balls plus many times in his life. Dell is also, a 100-ball runner, so if Dell gets back to the table, he could easily run out. Both players are trying to contain the other player by keeping him off the table. It seems like an obvious objective, but also needs to be stated every now and then. Looks like he's going directly into the 9 ball, which means he won't get much relief. So he'll probably hit this a little softer than other break shots and probably play position on the 3, the 6, and the 9 ball. So he's not going to have a lot of balls come up, but the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 9 should come out in the open. Maybe the 3 will be his next break shot. Okay, so he just scraped it. He thought he had a little more of the 9 ball than he did. And just like that, his run is probably over. Unless he's got a dead ball that I don't see. I really suspect that Tony's going to have to play some sort of safety. Oddly, from where I'm sitting, the 6 ball, the 6-8 combination almost looks dead in the upper left corner. If there's a little space, you can definitely throw that in, but it's obviously not an ideal situation. Tony's going to disturb that right now, I believe. Play safety. All right, good speed by Tony, controlling the 6 ball. Dell can thin this and leave this up table. Tony will have some sort of carom off the 9 with the 15 should he choose to accept it. But not a high percentage shot, so I look for Dell to be okay there. He looks like he's playing a safe on the 11-2-7-9. But the 8 ball leaked out on him. Tony doesn't have to shoot off this. He can thin the 11, bring the cue ball back on top of the 6, or he could shoot at the 8. I don't see that much reward off of shooting off the 8, but maybe Tony does. I really like playing a safe off the 11 instead of a safe off the 8, but maybe Tony's afraid of leaking to the right side too much of the table and selling out with the 9 ball or 15 ball. He alluded to a safety he showed me a long time ago of putting his hand next to the rail and using his hand to stop the cue from progressing too far and playing a safety that way legally, even though the balls are pretty close. What you would do is you'd stick your bridge hand or your stroking hand next to the rail, and then when you pull back and you fire, the compression of your hand stiff against the rail will hold the cue from fouling, the cue ball from fouling. Tony played a good safety there. Dell has a lot of options, so he can pin the 9, put the cue ball right back where it is, and I think that's what he'll have to do. Dell's a pocketing machine, and he really wants to fire here. He doesn't want to keep playing safeties, and I get that because he's just such a strong shooter and such a strong stroke that he can do a lot of things that other players are a little more fearful of. But I think he played a good safety here and didn't leave Tony a shot on the 15. So what Tony's going to do is thin the 15, bring the cue ball to the rail, and try to get back underneath the stack. He's calling the safe, just in case he makes the 15, but unlikely. He's just playing all cue ball there. And I think he sold out the 4 ball. Maybe the 15 got in the way, but I think he can play a 4-15 combination. This safety play here could determine who wins the rack. Both players are well in their kill zone. To go back into the stack, we really have to know if the 6 goes. The 6 is the only viable option I see, aside from maybe playing position to get underneath the 9 and going 1 rail off the 9 into the stack. That's another possibility. If he can cut the 9 in and just beat the side pocket, he should be able to go right into the stack. So I might go 8-4-9, try to get underneath the 9, cut the 9 in, and go into the stack if there's no balls loose from our perspective. Obviously, you should check for dead balls and all that kind of stuff first. He would have liked to have been straight on this 4 ball to get that position, but he's not dead here. He could play some other positions to try to get on this 9 break shot. He sees what I saw, though. He's trying to get parallel with the 9 or underneath the 9 slightly so he can go 1 rail towards the stack here. This is a difficult situation. All right, I think he hit that very well. I think he's underneath it enough where he can generate enough power to go 1 rail right towards the 5 ball or the 7 ball and get some good action on this stack. Looking at it from a glance, I don't think the 14's dead off the 10 or anything like that. So this is his best option. All right. A great shot by Dell. He's got life here. He can play the 7. He can play position on the 2 or the 6. He might even have the 3 ball or some other options. Now, if he can play the 10, he'd play the 10 first, but I don't know if the 13's in the way or not. If he can follow a little bit, play position on the 6, that's fine too. He's going to have to play the 14 on the side, I believe, and then play position on the 7 and regroup. If he's using the 12 or 5, he needs to get rid of those 2 balls in the middle. I can't see shooting at this 11 if it's not, or this 10 ball unless it's 100%. He can't shoot at this ball. He just play the 10, play position on the 7, and use the 6 to get in that area for the 10 bar or the 13. Can't risk it on a shot that isn't 100%. All right, he got rid of that problem. He'll be able to play the 10 now for sure, or the 7, and he can play the 10, 6, 7, 5, or the 7, 6, 10, 5, which would be ideal. Came a little short or a little farther than he wanted to be. Played really nice position there. Got right on the 5 ball. He can follow forward for the 10, use the 10 ball as his key ball, and he'll be into the next rack. This is great. I think he can follow the rail and come out. He may have to go 3 rails or use reverse. He got a little too steep here. I thought he was a little better than he is. He pounded that last ball a little bit, so I thought he needed more angle, but he's a little too steep here. He might have to double that top right corner with it reverse English. It'd be a low right and just enough low to miss the side pocket and the right to check it. Okay, this is a good shot as long as he plays the right speed. Looks like he hit it perfectly, guys. That was such a great shot he just hit there. Gets to continue his run. Notice for the 3-rail position, he had to go really tight into the corner.
Steve, when's your next match, Steve? When's your next match?
Saturday, right?
So it looks like Steve Lipsky will be playing Saturday. Maybe we'll get to him on the live stream next. That was a super shot by Dell, and I think we're almost tied here. 99 to 109.
I'll see you guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
good shooting, Steve. Looks like a 15-7 combination's pretty wired, not too bad. And he could have the 10 ball first. I might just go ahead and fire at this 15-7. Going into the 4 and the 13, I have the 11 ball or the 3 ball after. All attention on pocketing the ball. Okay, he's got the 3 ball or the 10 ball or the 6 ball. At the moment, the 6 ball looks like a great break shot, so I would try to preserve that if I could. I might play position on the 14 since it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere now. He's attacking the 13. Makes sense. He's got to get rid of the 4 ball. I might go 13-4 if the 4 goes by the 11. If it doesn't go, then he can always attack it later. There's no real issue there. He's got the 9 and the 5. He plays the 15. Right Right now, he's got so many options. He really just needs to get rid of all the balls in the groups. So if he's attacking the 9, he should get rid of the 1, the 11, the 2, the 5, the 8, the 15. This 14 ball I don't like. I would get rid of it. I would have got rid of it already myself, but he wants to attack this 14 ball soon. I might draw into the 8 here. I had the 11 as insurance or the 5. He's out there for the 2 ball. I would play position for the 4 if I could in the side. Maybe 2, draw into the 11, play the 4. He's going to do something else. Okay, he decided to go into it. That's not bad. I would go 5, 11, 14, 4, 8. 5, 11, 14, 4, 8 is a nice little pattern. Pretty small cue ball movement except for the 11 to the 14. I could use the 4 to get on the 14. That 14 ball is just a nuisance. He tried to play a little too perfect, I think, on the 14 and scratched for position. I think there were a couple other patterns may have been a little safer to get to the 14 earlier on. By leaving the 14 sort of near the end, we were forced to travel to get to it. Even if he got perfect on the 14, he was going to have to travel down table to the 11 and then play a good position shot from the 11 to the 6. Nothing natural. Now it looks like Tony's going 14, 2, and he'll go with the 11 as his key ball. And Tony is a little bit underneath the 2, but he should be all right. And I believe he'll just go 1 rail up, favoring the spot shot. Dell was so close to the kill zone there. If he had just, I think if he had just addressed that 14 a little earlier, this rack would have been his. Okay, Tony landed perfectly on this break shot. We're going to double check the score here shortly for you guys. Guys, current score is 113 for Tony Robles, 108 for Del Sim. We'll adjust our screen momentarily, but 113 to 108 in favor of Tony Robles. Guys, this is a great match, even though no high runs. The players have been playing very well, and the racks really haven't been opening as nicely as they'd like. Maybe the balls are a little dirty, maybe the table's a little dirty, but it seems to have been a little tough for both players to negotiate the racks, really having to work hard to get out. And I don't think that it's the player's fault necessarily, just the conditions. This shot I would use low outside, not slaughter this. Come all the way back. Yeah, just like Tony did right there. He's got a 5, looks like a 5-10 combination. And, I mean, he really shouldn't have a combination. No ball's touching, but this is a very high percentage shot. And Tony will make this ball. Shape on the 8 or possibly the 11. We'll just play a stop shot here. Oh, you could see the 14 cleanly. Or you can see the 10 ball cleanly. Sorry, guys, that's 10 ball, I think. But he's got the 15 balls of break shot, so really there's no real concerns here. Tony just has to be deliberate in his approach, make sure he doesn't go into balls unnecessarily or get trapped. Now he can play the 13-1 or just play the 1 straight ahead and make sure that you get rid of that one problem. I think he's going to play the 13-1 just to get rid of the group. Yeah, he's going to take care of all those balls. He's going to get rid of the 2 and the 1. Now, as I said earlier, most players like to get rid of all the balls below the 15 ball as a just break shot. So he'll get rid of the 5, the 9, the 14, and the 1 as quickly as possible. Now what Tony could do is he could keep the 1 and use the 1 to get to the 11 ball and use the 11 balls as key ball. He could go 14, 9, 5, get rid of the balls up table, use the 1 to get back to the 14. I don't think he'll do that just because it's too much work. The 12 ball and the 7 ball are really good key balls. I suspect he's going to get rid of all these balls on this half the table, then use the 3 to get to the 4, to get to the 7, to get to the 12, and probably use the 12 or the 7 as his key ball. He's going to play the 9 and try to get perfect on this 11. If he can get straight on the 11, he can get rid of the 5 as well. So what he might do here is go 7, 3, 4, 5, 11 and use the 11 as his key ball, still using the 5 ball to get to the 11. That's 7, 3, 4, 5, 11. Or 3, 7, 4, 5, 11 is just as good. Sorry guys, I stepped away for a brief moment. He actually got a little funny on the 7. I think he can get good position for the 5. If he has to, he can go 3 rails from the 5 to the 11, which is what he's opted to do. He's going to go 3 rails towards the 11 as opposed to just using a draw stroke. So if he could get thick on the 5, he would have just drawn up a little bit for the 5 in the side and then drawn up for the 5. But since he's got a little thin, he's going to go 3 rails towards the 11. Very natural position, so he's going to execute at a high level. And Tony's at 127 now. He's looking really good at the table. He's got his speed together and really playing nice patterns. You see a couple different options. I know he took a different option than I originally said, but you see the concept. He's sticking to the rules of straight pull nicely and getting out well. The rack opened up pretty nice last rack, so he didn't have to work too hard. When the table is playing a little stingy or tight, I like to get a pretty severe cut on my break shot so that I open the rack a little more than usual. Tony's at a parallel position on the 15 ball, so he can draw or follow this ball. I suspect since he's a little closer to the stack, he's going to do a stun draw or sort of a control draw. But he could draw all the way back to the short rail and out. You're currently watching Tony Robles, the silent assassin. He has an exhibition coming up with Kevin Clark for a charity event. He'll also be playing Earl Strickland October 25th. He is in charge of the Napa League and APL League in the New York tri-state area, and the Predator Tour. The New York City 8-Ball Championships are coming up October 19th and 20th, and the Steinway Classic is coming up as well, 5th through the 17th. Tony's primary supporters, of course, are Gail, Jonathan, and Antonio. A little shout out to them. Del Sin, the Highlander, is sponsored by Lights Out Apparel. He uses PQ brake tips when he's playing 9-ball or 10-ball or 8-ball. He plays with G2 chalks and tips, and he's using the OB Fusion cue right now with a Keith Hammond butt. Hillary has been a big support team for him. This is Pascal Dufresne's software. The program is called the 14.1 Engine. It gives the stats and scores. Pascal's currently been monitoring the computer and helping us out with key balls and that sort of scenario for you guys. Pascal deserves a big thanks. And I just want to do a quick shout out to him. Also, Sean Morgan is one of the house pros here, along with Tony Robles and myself. Sean, Tony, and I all give lessons out here. Sean does run the Straight Pull League, and obviously does an amazing job getting all this stuff put together for you guys. You're currently listening to Michael Yednak. We're here live at New York City's Amsterdam Billiards and Bar. I am sponsored by Jacoby Custom Cues, Narcoleptic Chalk Holders, which is 3D printed, Bradley McDuffie, one of our friends, and HighRockStore.com is another place you can go to get some quality cue supplies, as well as Kamui products. If you guys are at all interested, the American 14-1 Championship is the last week in October, preceding the International Open 128-player event, October 28th through November 2nd. A lot of good tournaments coming up in the next few months, guys. Stay posted, and please support Pool. Back to this match. Tony's on the 5-ball. Looks like he's going to use the 14s as break shot. He's got the 11, 10, 12 scenario he has to develop or solve. This 11 ball goes, he's gonna play position for the 11 in his next few shots, or he could play position on the 6 and open him up underneath, having the 2 balls insurance. Okay, he's opted to use the 6 to go into him and clear the path. He's looking to see if he wants to hit the right side of the 12 or the left side of the 12. He's got plenty of insurance with the 2 balls up table, the 9 ball and the 1 ball basically hanging in front of the pockets. He also has a 2 balls insurance, so he can't really get in trouble here. He could even go into the 12 squarely and should be all right. Key is that it's a 12 here. You don't want to just hit the 10. Okay, just hit the 10, and if the 12 goes, he's all right. If it doesn't go, he's in a little bit of trouble. I don't see any hesitation from Tony, so he looks good. And looks like 11-10 will be his last 2 balls. Maybe 11 in the corner, 10 in the side. Stop shot and the 10 for a perfect break shot. If he's straight in, he'll draw back just for the 9 ball. If he's not, he'll play a closer position up table. Now Tony can get shaped to play a stop shot in the 11, either in the side or the corner. He'll be perfect on the 10. If for some reason he doesn't like it, he'll have to move from the 11 to the 10 or trade balls. Maybe he can play the 10, then the 11 for position. But obviously the 11 to the 10 would be ideal. He was trying to get straight in the corner. Got slightly awkward. He could go 10 in the corner, play a stop shot, and then draw off the 11, and still end up with great shape. He's just got to move the cue a little more than he'd like for his last ball. And Dell's going to take his break now. And Tony's a little on tilt that he didn't pocket the 10 ball. He really thought the ball was in. He didn't hit it that badly. He did rush it slightly because he decided that he was out. You know, sometimes we do that. And Dell's actually got a little bit of work for him because he's got to play position off the 10 to get to the 11 to use the 14. Not your ideal situation, to be honest, because the 10 is deep in the pocket. But Dell's going to take a brief break. I'm going to step away for a few moments. I'll be back shortly, guys. Thanks for watching. So Dell hit a pretty good shot, but still ended up a little awkward on the 11. He's going to have to go to the rail and back out. He went 2 rails around. Landed perfectly on the shot, just a little bit more distance than I'd like, but he's good. My current score 110 to 139. Tony almost ran out. Dell's got his last hurrah here. Needs a 40 ball run, well within his capabilities of doing so. Let's see if Dell can put on a clinic for these last 30 balls and take the great Tony Robles out. This is a definite low outside for me, and I'm going to hit this pretty firm. Go back to the rail and back out just like Dell did. Nice shot. He needs to not get frozen on the 9 ball. That actually happens sometimes and is one of the sickest things in straight pull. But Dell came out clear. He's got a good shot in the 11 or the 9. No real problems. He's got a little cluster in the middle with the 13-7-6 off to address. He's got the 12 ball blocking the 10 ball, his break shot. And he just solved one of the problems. He's got a good shot in the 12. He can follow up a little bit. I might get rid of the 8 off the 2 ball if I have the option. He's going to go ahead and take care of the 6 ball. That'll clear up part of the pocket for the 12. It's a good decision. Guys, this 14-1 program is available for anyone interested. Please contact Pascal Dufresne privately. He'll send you a message probably later this evening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the inquiry. Again, that 8-ball is a problem and needs to be addressed pretty soon. If he can play the 13 and then the 1, that solves the 4-ball problem. And then he'll just have to get rid of the 12, and this rack will be pretty simple. The 12 and the 8 are the last 2 problems of this rack. I would even go so far as before playing the 8, I'd probably clear the 3 and the 4 now, so I make sure I have a pocket for the 8. Or clear the pockets for the 3 off the 8. Now Dell can pocket the 4, go into the 12 here. Make it a little easier to play position for the 12. I might try to push the 12 up towards the side, so I had a break shot. He didn't do that, so he's going to have to take the 10 ball and preserve the 12 ball as a break shot, or I'll use the 3. From here, I think he's going to use the 3 balls as a break shot, which means he's going to go 12, 11, 2, 8, 3. This 2 to the 8 position is a little squirrely, and that's precisely why I don't like holding on to the 8 ball as a key ball here. But let's see if he can land perfectly on this 2 ball to get on the 8 ball. He got a little short, but I think he can pull this back with low outside and hold it. He wants the cue ball essentially on the same line it is now. Okay, he landed in perfect shape. Actually overcut the ball. He should have hit it a little thicker. He would have had a little easier time holding the shape, but he hit that still very well and landed nicely. And we got a ball game, guys. Current score, if the screen's a little too small for you, is 139 to 124. If Dell can run out this rack, it'll be 138 to 139, and we'll be very close to a hill-hill match, so to speak. The 10 ball could haunt Tony for all next season if he doesn't get back to the table. Right, guys, so this particular rack, since he's far enough from the stack, he can use a follow shot. I would use top outside here. It'd be very unlucky to have anything precarious happen. I'm going to say that softly so it doesn't happen to him. Now he used outside draw instead. He's going to be a little bit far from the stack, but I think that may have been a little decision there. I would have used top outside instead there. Now, Dell's got to come with this 5 ball in the lower left corner. And as long as he pockets it, he'll have a shot. Tony's obviously excited that he's got a tough opportunity for Dell. I mean, excited lightly. Tony obviously wants his opponent to play well, but he wants to win. Dell stayed down nicely, but didn't pocket that ball. Tony needs 11, and Tony doesn't even need to get through this rack. Only 1 ball is down. Tony's got all the balls on the table, and it's pretty open, to be honest. Tony's going to have to make a pretty big error not to get out here. Tony won't be worried about break shots. He doesn't even want break shots out, so he'll take away all the balls in the middle of the table as naturally as they come. It's brutal. I think Dell made a not poor decision on the break shot, but I think he could have used follow and probably ended up with a little better opportunity after the break. Tony got a little funny here. He's a little thick on this 9 ball. I think he can follow up and go into the 10, or he can draw back and play position on the 6. I don't think he's in that much trouble. Okay, he tried to pound it up. I think if it was that thick, I might have drawn back for the 2 ball. Got Mr. Alex Masucci just walked by. This is a great match, guys. I'm glad that the match is close. I'm glad both players played well. I feel like both players were one roll from being out this match. Tony's playing the 7. He'll probably go into the 13 ball, have shape on the 5. Or the 12. He'll probably take the 12. He could play the 2 in the side. Might even be able to play the 11 in the corner. Almost everything goes here. He's looking really good. Tony's just going to be a little more patient, make sure he doesn't make any errors. He missed that 10, which was a unforced error, and he's not going to do that again for these last 11 balls. If he's got anything to say about it. So I suspect he'll lead those last, the 11, 13, and 14, and 6 for the last 4 balls, because he does need to go into them, and I don't think they naturally have pockets. It's like 1-8-4-11 to me, or 1-10-8-4. Oh my gosh. And Tony miscued, needing 5 balls. Guys, I think they just want to make it suspenseful for us, and Tony had an uncharacteristic miscue. I didn't see a funny stroke or anything, so he'll probably scuff up his tip, make sure it's prepared for the next opportunity. Dell's obviously put the pressure on Tony. And Tony's a champion, and he'll be ready for his next opportunity if he gets one, as Dell is. And Dell was able to solve that little problem in the lower right corner with those 4 balls. You should be able to pocket the 6 and play position for the 1 next. He's stretching. I might play the 13 the side first. Or he'll play the 6 and then the 13. Okay, 6-13. He'll follow up for the 10. Or the 8. He's got so many options here. Just got to stay down, make sure he doesn't make an unforced error. The break shot isn't on the same side as the key ball, so he's going to have to work a little bit for his break shot key ball position. And there's a good shot by Dell there. Now he can swing 2 rails, or he might even be able to just draw this with outside English. I think he's too thin to just draw it, so he'll probably go 2 rails. Or he'll go in the corner 1 rail and come out. He's thinking about this for a second, making sure he lines it up correctly. Okay, he hit that pretty well, guys. He's got enough angle to do some damage here. I think it's 132 to 144. So the score is correct, guys. Everything's going well. Having an awesome match here. I'm glad to be a part of this. Thanks to Pascal and Amsterdam Billiards and obviously Sean Morgan. All right, good break shot by Dell. He's got the 4-ball or the 8-ball. He didn't have much energy, natural, so he had to create that energy with his stroke. Dell's got one of the most powerful strokes in the Northeast. Able to make some quality damage on that break. He's playing the 15 ball. Good shot. He's got the 4-ball now. He could use the 7-ball to open up the stack by going into the 11. And I think he got ideal position. I do believe the 9 goes, so if he goes into the stack, he should have the 9 as insurance. Yeah, he had the 9 as insurance, and he's got the 12-ball. He hit the side of the rack, so he had the 12-ball, which worked out nicely. Now he's got to work a little bit to get position here. He'll want to make sure he gets a shot on either the 2 or the 8 after this 12. I don't think he's got much angle here. These guys, the whole set, they seem to have a little bit of at least 1 or 2 shots where they really had to come with something sort of to get back in line. And whenever that scenario happened, that's when things either didn't go well or they continued the run. So Dell just has to focus, decide what he's going to do, and then execute. Now he's jacking up, so he's playing probably position on the 8-ball. Play position on the 8, and that was that scenario that I was talking where either you come with the shot and you win the rack or you don't. And a little brutal for Dell, a little brutal for Tony. Both guys well in the kill zone, and both guys snatching defeat from victory, unfortunately. I do think the balls are playing, or the table's playing a little tighter than usual. I think both players are used to the table being a little more forgiving than it is, and it's costing both players. All right, guys, so Tony's fixing his tip. Again, Tony Robles, the Silent Assassin, has a couple exhibition matches coming up, one with Kevin Clark for a charity event, one with Earl Strickland. The Earl Strickland match is going to be October 25th. He does run the Napa League in New York City and the Predator Tour, which is the tri-state area. The New York City 8-Ball Championship is coming up shortly, October 19th through the 20th. Steinway Classic is coming up the 5th through the 17th. And of course, in Tony's corner, he's got Gail Glazebrook, Jonathan, and Antonio. Del Sin, the Highlander, is sponsored by Lights Out Apparel, Piku Tips, G2 Chalk and Tips, and he's using an OB Fusion Q at the moment with a Keith Hammond butt. Hillary is his main supporter, and of course his son. Sorry, Deli, I forget your son's name, but Del gets to spend quality time with his son on the weekends pretty frequently. Let's take a moment to also thank, obviously, Sean Morgan, Amsterdam Billiards, and Pascal Dufresne for putting this on. Thanks again, guys. Let's see if Tony can finish this out, needing just a few more balls. Looks like all the balls are out. I'll probably play the 10, the 5, the 9, and then the 13. Guys, you're listening to myself, Michael Yednak, live here at New York City's Amsterdam Billiards and Bar. main sponsor, of course, is Jacoby Custom Cues, narcoleptic chalk holders, 3D printed by my friend Bradley, highrockstore.com, good place to get some billiard apparel, Kamui products, and please keep a lookout for thebilliardist.com for more information on professionals coming through the city and some other opportunities. I believe he's playing the combination on the 12 here. He's got the 13 ball, the 5 ball, and should be all over, guys.
Hello all, it's Sean Alaska Martin here. I just want to say thank you for tuning in and watching this great matchup between two fine gentlemen who are really competitive at this game. I want to thank Mike for coming in and commentating this match, Pascal Dufresne for streaming this match. We're definitely going to have more matches streamed coming up later in the playoffs. Steve Lipsky, I understand he had a great game versus Kiss Kelly.
Yeah, he ran a 125.
Beautiful. Guys, I really, and as I get more involved in 14-1, I'm really starting to enjoy playing it more and more. So I'm happy to be running this league, be a part of this league at Amsterdam Billiards, and hopefully next season we'll have the same amount of gold division players to bring these exciting matches to the stream. So once again, thanks again for tuning in, and again, Mike, you have closing things you want to say? I thank you so much for commentating this match. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Guys, just so you're aware, Sean Morgan does provide lessons here at Amsterdam Billiards, along with Tony Robles and myself, Michael Yednak, who you're listening to. Thanks again to Pascal, obviously. Just do a couple quick announcements for you guys. In the New York area, Tony Robles runs the Napa League and the Predator Tour. He'll be doing the New York City 8-Ball Championships coming up, the Steinway Classic, and Dell Sim, Lights Out Apparel, Piku Tips, G2 Chalk and Tips. Dell will be coming out with some new equipment soon. What a great match from both players. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, special thanks to Jacoby Custom Cues, Narcoleptic, Chalk Holders, and High Rock Productions, along with Kamui. Thanks, guys. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Hopefully we get Steve on the stream maybe Saturday or early next week, guys. Also, Tony will be back. Obviously, since he's the winner, he'll get to continue on as well. So Tony and Steve will probably be our highlight matches. Talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.